Yo, sup? It's NY3. Welcome back to part 3 of the Yangzing Effra showcase. This part is all about the off-theme support, so any cards that don't have Yangzing or Effra in its name, but mixes really well with the deck I'm going to be going over in this section. So cards you should consider. Alright, so just a basic introduction on what kind of criteria I'm looking for. Now, first of all, let's start with 1FL main support cards. Yazi, Evolve to Yangzing. When Yazi is destroyed, he is able to summon any worm type monster from your deck in defense mode. So in other words, any good abusable worm type monster will be able to be abused in this deck. Unfortunately, there are no good non-Yangzing worm type monsters right now, so but that's an interaction to watch out for in the future. Now another thing is, Yangzing monsters trigger when destroyed. No. So any support card that destroys Yangzing, but at the same time not make them miss timing, is a good support card for the deck. So first of all, we have the obvious Dark Hole. You can destroy all your Yangzings as well as all of your opponent's monsters as an added bonus. Moving on, we have Sky Iris. Sky Iris can destroy Yangzings. Because it has the end of you do clause, it will not make Yangzings miss timing because that end of you do means simultaneous. The search and order and destruction of a face-up card. So Sky Iris is a very nice mix, and of course you have to run the odd eyes targets to go with the Sky Iris, or else you will not be allowed to activate the effect of Sky Iris if you do not have a valid odd eyes target in your deck. So destruction is one thing. And now we're branching out because Sky Iris is a field spell. We're already running Oracle of Effra, which is another field spell. And in comes the best card, the most broken card of the deck, Terraforming. I think Terraforming here is actually the best generic search card in the whole game. I think it's actually better than Rhoda Terraforming. Yeah, I hope it doesn't get banned. A lot of my decks revolve around Terraforming, the Terraforming engine for consistency. But yeah, since we're running Terraforming, and because it's a synchro deck that makes 7CZ Ancient Fairy Dragon, these are kind of the same, on the same boat. They both search field spells and toolbox field spells like crazy. And because we have that field spell toolboxing, we can run other field spells such as Chicken Game. Now Chicken Game can convert our dead Terraformings into Upstart pretty much. Chicken Game also stays there after use, unlike cards such as Upstart Goblin. That means we can destroy it with Ancient Fairy Dragon for +1, or destroy it with Baxia for +1. So in a sense, it's better than Upstart Goblin. We also have, this also opens up the opportunity for us to side deck some field spell floodgates. So we can side deck cards such as Necro Valley for any graveyard reliant decks such as Infernoids. We can side deck Zombie World for any decks that require specific type of monster that's not zombie. So this is going to go in, you know, against Magic Spectres. They can only tribute wind spellcasters. Zombie World turns them into zombies. It's worth noting that Zombie World's anti-tribute effect will most likely not work against the new Monarchs because Erebus is a zombie type, which is very annoying. But yeah, the field spell toolboxing lets you toolbox these field spells. Alright, onwards to the next thing. The next thing is, because this is a half pendulum deck, we have access to anything pendulum related. The Zephyr scales are not that good. They have restrictions on what you can pendulum summon with it, and they have no benefits in being in the pendulum zone, apart from the fact that you can summon them back when your opponent MSTs it or destroys it. So we're always looking out for better pendulum support. Now, Wavering Eyes, Cancer card, but it's just such a blowout in any pendulum game. Good scales, such as Eccentric Archfiend. You know, what we're trying to pendulum summon is level 6, so scale 7, perfect. More good scales, we have, you know, Rizbel, the summoner, at scale 2. Magical Abductor, because we're running pendulums, which gives it counters. A lot of spells, which gives it counters. Terraforming, which is going to give it 3 counters by itself, because you're terraforming 1 counter. Oracle 1 counter. And search a pendulum monster, set it in the scale, 3 counters. So, good pendulum support cards and good pendulum monsters are going to all be relevant in this deck. Now, any monster really can have some sort of synergy with the deck, because we have cards such as Yangzing Creation, which turns any non-floater into a floater. We have cards such as Baxia, which is once per turn monster reborn for a level 4 or lower monster. That's another point we can look out for. Now, going back a bit, I've mentioned Oracle of Effra. Now, since this is mainly a synchro-based deck, Oracle of Effra synchro ability, which is stack any monster to the top of your deck, is going to come in handy. Now, after stacking a monster to the top of the deck, we have cards such as Upstart Goblin, which can immediately draw that stat card and add it to our hand, and so, which makes Upstart very good in this deck. Furthermore, we can pretty much use Oracle stacking ability to search any unsearchable hand traps in the game, which is particularly why I like to side hand traps over traps in this deck, is because of the Oracle interaction. So any good hand traps is going to be much more usable in this deck than any other deck. Alright, so another piece of interaction is Chelfing. When it dies, it can search any tuner from your deck to your hand. That means good tuners are also going to work in this deck. So, you know, Effect Veiler, Junk Synchron, Mask Chameleon, any of these can be searched when Chelfing is destroyed. And since it's a synchro summoning deck, tuners are always good to have in your hand. Last but not least, because we have Jiao2 discarding 2 cards all of the time, they can very well be monsters, which gives utility to cards such as Soul Charge or Instant Fusion for Noden for something else, but I think that is strictly worse than Soul Charge. These things do conflict with cards such as Yangzing Path, and it does add to the early game brick, because as you know, we don't want to open Divine Strike, we don't want to open Yangling Paths, we don't want to open Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragons, and running cards like Soul Charge just adds to that problem. But it's definitely a good blowout card for the late game. Now, being a synchro deck and all, we can summon pretty much any generic synchros in the game. We can summon our theme boss monsters such as Baxia. But what are some other good generic synchros that go well with a Yangzing deck? Well, first off, we'll start with the level 4 Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight can be made battle immune with BN Earth of the Yangzing, which means its measly stats of 600 attack, 1000 defense does not matter. This just becomes a negate anything that can be reborn by Baxia. Before, we've already mentioned Ancient Fairy Dragon for field spell toolboxing. We also have Ignis the Prominence, which is our non-targeting removal. Since we run level 2 tuners and level 6 pendulum non-tuners, it's definitely a good addition. Because Jiao2 is a dark tuner, we can run things such as Void Ogre Dragon. And as I mentioned before, any good generic synchro, such as Odd Eyes Media Burst Dragon, Psyframe Lord Omega, High Speed Red Chamber Rider, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, Blackroot, Moonlight Rose, Stardust, the other Stardust. We can run Colossal Fighter, which is great for OTKing through Maxi, since you can just crash it into their guys like 30 times. Armades, Keeper of Boundaries, Samsara, Dragon Rebirth. Now, this is similar to Yangzing's, such that it floats when it dies. But Samsara does not miss timing, so when they're trying to make you miss timing, you could quick synchro into Samsara and not lose everything. Got Armoriam. Armoriam is great for back then when we had to run over things such as Clifford Towers. Looking at the future, the Super Quantum getting a 3600 attack Towers-like monster that's unaffected by everything. And so are Raid Raptors. I think it's the rank 10 Raid Raptor that's going to be 3500 unaffected by everything. So cards like Armoriam. More field spell support, Ancient Pixie Dragon. No Thung, which is pretty much Gaga Cowboy for synchros at level 6. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, great. Non-targeting, non-destruction removal. All great options, synchro options. Now some that I would like to go into slightly more depth about would be cards like Metaphys Horus. Metaphys Horus, this is a pendulum based deck, so you could actually get both the effect monster and the pendulum monster of Metaphys Horus. So you can get 2 effects of Horus at the same time. This is very good because simultaneous effects go on chain. You can stack your chain links and protect your important Horus effect with the less important Horus effect. Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon is always a good card. In this deck, it has been it's not as good because we have Baxia, which most of the time is going to get rid of the whole field in a much better way than Black Roses. Because we have our field spell Oracle of Zephyr, I could find it, Oracle of Zephyr, we can actually make Oracle on Chainlink 1 and Black Rose on Chainlink 2 when it is summoned, and that will make things mistiming, such as if the mirror match ever comes up. And of course, any deck can run Exceeds, but since this deck has a lot of surplus level 8s lying around all of the time, that doesn't really do anything on your opponent's turn, you can overlay them for something like Felgrand, Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand, and that converts your guys who do nothing on your opponent's turn to some sort of disruption on your opponent's turn. Of course, there are many cards out there that I haven't touched upon, but these are the main cards that I've considered for. Thank you for watching part 3, and join in next time for part 4, which is going to be the first combo tutorial type video. So we're done with the introductions. Next time will be combos. Yay! So see you at the next video.